Hello and welcome to Monastery Live, the world's greatest, drunkest shit show. I'm, as always, your one and only gaming monk. This is not the usual. I botched already. This is not the usual thing. We are not moving this to Fridays. There was because of a bit of schedule shifting. There was a slot open. I figured, hey, why not do this? And joining me, we have the Primarch of the Angry Marines, the grump the man who the grumpy old men were ripping off.
That would be me.
Yes, and yes, I am saying that the film Grumpy Old Men was them ripping you off.
You know, I've never actually seen it.
I think I've seen the first one.
But the older I get, the more I appreciate the attitude.
Yeah. Although, for what it's worth, and this probably is not going to surprise you at all. When I was a kid, I was accused of being a grumpy old man in a young man's body. And decades later, still grumpy.
Yep.
All right. So this is going to be a little bit of a different affair. There's not going to be the news stuff, the Geeks of the Week, the main event stuff. That's all coming Sunday. So because of that, there will not be as much drinking tonight. Unless Ralts decides to break out the wild turkey on a Friday night. That's your prerogative.
Once she goes to sleep.
Instead, we have a bit of a follow-up on something that we touched on Sunday. The Orun Kickstarter, that since the quick start was out, we decided we were going to take a little bit of a look at. And first thing that we noticed is that, as I recall, we were kind of tilting our heads at them using a square page size. But now that I've got it in front of me in a PDF form, the quick start is pay what you want, though they're asking for $4.99. I have no idea who would pay $5 for a quick start. I don't think
if after this you feel it's worth your money, by all means do so.
Yeah. I'm just saying buying a quick start is kind of odd because there's always the expectation that a quick start of an RPG is free because it's basically the demo version of that game. Like you wouldn't buy a demo version of a video game, would you?
Not unless it was produced by EA. That's a joke, son. That's a joke.
Don't tell me you're gonna go full on doing a Foghorn Leghorn impression.
No.
It was already bad enough that I had one of my coworkers humming the theme to Bonanza.
Now, for those of you that remember the other one last Sunday, we did bag on it at first because the beginning of their Kickstarter looks like Diversity Incorporated. My head's in my ass, but they got 3 solid people working on this.
Mm-hmm.
Although it is kind of funny that they put their email addresses in this.
Please, nobody send hate mail. Except for the people in the writing staff who have danger here. Go right ahead and take the piss out of them. Now I am loading up the Kickstarter so I can see the so I can do some name reference regarding the writers. The Kickstarter is currently at 25.7K. They've got about a week to go. And I do have to make one mistake. That set of pictures that we saw at first, those were stretch goals. The idea is that those stretch goals would be that stuff would be created by those danger hair groups as expansions. But let's see. So it says that creator is Misha Bushjaeger, who we know the least about, only handling the hashtag feminism PDF that nobody buys. Jerry D. Grayson and Eloy Lasanta.
Eloy and Jerry have chops.
Yeah,
they are actual designers who know and understand game balance and who understand game design.
In fact, the 3 games that were brought up by Jason, I have all actually the games that were brought up by Jerry and Eloy in this. I have each of them, and they are very good games. I will review them. I promise. Although as a bit of an aside, Ralts, I want to run by an idea that I've been kicking around of doing a TSR month, focusing on Marvel Phase Rip, Dragonlance Saga, because doing 2 Marvel games in this is kind of silly. Star Frontiers and Top Secret. Think it'd be a good idea?
You what?
I'm thinking of doing that as a video series, kind of like that Star Wars thing I did. Just doing a month of non-D&D TSR games.
That would work. Mm-hmm. If we do Top Secret, we got to look at the early SSI version.
Are we talking about Top Secret or Top Secret SI?
Which one was it with the city map in it? With the sewers, it was a box set. I think it was Gen 1.
Let me check. Let's see. I don't have a city map for a Top Secret. I do have the only map that I do have regarding Top Secret was the map for the Doomsday Drop module, and that was SI.
Oh, this was first edition. It came with a. I used the map in Shadowrun when we did Shadowrun Europe. I gave it to my GM. Let me look it up. And you know what? My Mac is running really, really slow. Look up. Oh, hang on. Please. Okay. Oh.
Actually, no. That was my mistake. There was one. I'm of 2 minds of it. I'm tempted to if I'm gonna tackle Top Secret, I'm tempted to tackle Top SI. But on the other hand, I'm also tempted to tackle the revival that came out last year called New World Order.
I haven't seen New World Order. I think SI was the original, wasn't it?
No, SI was the 2nd edition. The original was just called Top Secret.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the original Top Secret box set with it had a city booklet in the back. It was a city in Europe, which was pretty much an open city. You know, one of those weird things you only had during the 60s and 70s, where it was pretty much a city-state on its own in a failed state. Yeah, it's not loading up. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Oh, God. Yeah, all the first page gives me is a bunch of shit about, you know, Top Secret RPG.
I do it.
Let's see, it was the original box set. But Top Secret, definitely a good game. Let's see, yeah, I'm thinking of the original one. It came with Operation Spreckenhaltenstelle is what it came with.
Yep, I do have that. I do have that operation. I do have that operation in my archives, as well as somebody made a PDF that contained most of the add-ons that were put in Dragon. But anyway, that's something that I'll be considering doing down the line. I'd like to hope that eventually Star Frontiers and Saga also get their own spins.
Yes. Star Frontiers would be a good one. I love Star Frontiers. Although I did quit playing it. I can't remember when, but it was mainly because I went to Europe. It was after the the first 3 Southar modules. There was like 1 or 2 others, and it never really went past that.
Yeah,
apparently I missed a lot.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You missed. I think you missed out completely on Alpha Hawks, and the ship combat spin-off.
No. I got that one because that was a box set.
Okay.
But that was like one of the last Star Frontiers products I was able to purchase before I ended up in Europe. And once I hit Europe, there was no getting any of those products.
Fair enough. But anyway,
on with the possible shit. Show.
Okay, we already covered who's handling the artists. I can't say that I'm. Something about the name New Agenda Publishing bugs me, and I think it mostly has to do with how they sold it on the Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got.
I saw that.
Welcome to Orun, a primer. Okay, go. I just realized that this primer thing here, this is word for word what the opening pitch in the Kickstarter page.
Yep.
I'm not gonna fault them for doing that, but I am noting it.
I'm gonna fault them. Bad designer, lazy designer.
I think I'd say it's more an instance of them being designers more than they are marketers. But then again, when you're full on LFG, you should have some indication of selling your game to people who might want to play. Also, this is a bit of, whenever it comes to looking at layout, I get ridiculously nitpicky, and I will completely admit that. But can somebody explain why on every page we need to have the New Agenda Publishing website at the bottom?
Because somebody doesn't know how to do pages properly and InDesign.
Well, there's no real point to having that.
Is this form? This is all PDF, right?
I will excuse it because it's a sample, but I am not going to excuse it because you're asking for money for it. It's like, I know where I got it.
Yeah.
That's 2000's design.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that someone would do in a way that it probably wouldn't even matter.
Yep. And I see Tiger Lily in the chat. Hello there.
I'm gonna bitch a bit about the layout.
It's pretty much Star Wars copied.
It's worse than that. It's early 2000s N world. From the side fading in. Yeah, I get it. It's supposed to be Afrocentric, but the real problem is they didn't eliminate it completely from behind the text. Mm-hmm. If you look, you'll realize that why your eyes keep blurring on the text is because they didn't completely knock it out under the text. It's there, but it's very faded.
Yeah. All right, I got you. Anyways, it goes, what is Orun and what do the players do? Although I can't help but notice they didn't put Afrocentric in their little subtitle over here. It's about it being post-apotheosis.
Host of Athiosis Space Opera. Oh my god, no. I apologize.
You do that. And put your motherfucking head back down.
All right.
Let's see, the game take this name from the massive cosmic megastructures called the Oruns, paradise worlds that envelop stars and contain technological wonders that outstrip the imagination. Okay, so
Paradise worlds that envelop stars are called Dyson spheres. Learn your fucking terminology.
Yep. Gifts of the Orisha, the Oruns were created for the people of the galaxy as a primer for the great things to come during Ascension. The Oruns hold many secrets. Ascent holds infinitely more. In Orun, you play an envoy of the Ascendant Olaru, called a Jali or Luminary. The Olaru are distant and removed, but keep one foot in this reality to help guide others to apotheosis. Not quite ascendant themselves, the Luminaries travel to different worlds as advisors, troubleshooters, and peacekeepers in the post-apotheosis galaxy. They explore lost star systems and ultimately help enlighten worlds and their people, waking the galaxy from its disordered indolence. You know, given some of the danger hairs who have been associated with this, I can't help but wonder why none of them screamed cultural appropriation or colonialism or something.
Well, I'm still willing to let it slide so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate this because as soon as I lean back, that fucking the light blue design pops out from behind the text.
Yeah.
Lean back to your screen and take a look at it. See that light blue text pop. Orders the light blue design. Orders the text.
You mean the triangles? I could see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. It goes, what are Jali and why am I one? The core conceit of this game is that the galaxy is broken and everyone knows it. At one point in time, all peoples in the galaxy moved towards a cosmic rapture, but something went wrong. So, in other words, the galaxy was getting woke. You as a Dajali and the wise Olaru can see it for what it is, a dysfunctional mess grinding to the edge of oblivion. You know others would like to help, and you have the skills and powers to do it.
Okay, I'm going to throw something in here. If you're going to use $3 words, make sure you use the common definition of them. Technically, the core conceit of the game is fine, but they would have been better off using concept, because conceit in common lecture has a much different connotation. They're using a lot of $3 words where they don't need to.
Yeah, and they're borrowing something from the Arterian mythos of aliens.
The whole borrowing conceit concept I'm leaving behind in this simply because if you're gonna go that route, then we're gonna be here all damn day, because how many games are basically just a popular work with the copyright infringing material filed off.
True.
So it's like, you're not wrong, but it's not really a battle you want to fight.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're. I'm just saying that they're borrowing it. That's the thing. It doesn't mean
they did with it because aliens borrowed it too.
That's true. But they're using the whole interdimensional beings that are trying to help the universe and all that other stuff. It kind of reminds me of that Arturian mythos of the alien beings from the UFO, races thing that I read.
But still, let's see what they got.
All right. There are 11 different species called the people. Each brings something dynamic. In this quick start, you'll be introduced to 5 of them. All right, we've got a glossary of terms, very World of Darkness of you guys.
Called the people.
The people. What do you mean, you people?
I write fiction, and every single race calls themselves the people. And the races that call themselves the people view everyone else as not people.
If you want, this is Shadowrun has meta humanity.
Yeah.
Like even elves, trolls, and orcs are all even with their physiological differences, are all considered human, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But trying to go that several different aliens all refer to themselves as the people, that strikes me as a little bit hippie.
Yeah. I would call them beings, but
I
then
would call
again,
it Native American appropriation.
yeah, but then again, they never did cultural exploration before.
Yep. Okay.
Let's see. Hypothesis: the act of moving beyond the mundane universe and realizing the multiversal truth of existence.
I feel
Because I understand the concept of subspace foam, some string theory, and some of the motion theories, including pilot wave. That means I've undergone hypothesis.
I do. Maybe it's just me, but instead of using apotheosis, wouldn't it be better served to use enlightenment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that goes back to the European Enlightenment. You can't have that.
Yeah. They're creating a space religion.
Ascendance, the act of moving to a higher perception and interaction with the universe.
Again,
Yeah.
why? Maybe it's because I have the Tibet RPG in my backlog, but I keep looking at this and thinking, why couldn't you just use enlightenment
That
instead?
worked.
Huh?
Oh, no, it's yelling one at my kids. Let's see. Ascendant, a person moving toward or has completed the act of hypothesis. So, Tom Cruise.
Let's see, auras, the elements that make up a being's collective whole. Okay, nothing
That
wrong
is
there.
not what an aura is. You do not take something that is very commonly known as one thing and reinvent it as another. Design fail.
Mm-hmm.
Ayanmo, destiny or fate of a person. The common worlds of the galaxy. Okay, uses D10. Jali, the player character, also called a luminary, player, PC, or hero. Edges, temporary advantages produced by exceptional successes. GM, we already know what that is. GMC, we already know what that is. Hitches, temporary disadvantage.
It's got to be special by calling them GMCs. Well, can't repeat the NPC meme.
The game master
When I hear
character.
maybe it's just me, but when I hear GMC, I immediately think of the truck line.
Yeah.
Right. Luminary, we already went over that. Olaru, the twice ascendant, the ones that came back to health during the Sapona War and stayed to help others ascend. The Olaru now direct the Jali and help the people of the galaxy. I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody getting a Babylon 5 vibe?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Huh? What was that, Ralts?
very much so.
But they're doing it with space hippies.
Is that better or worse than doing it with space elves?
I don't know. It depends. I've got a different feeling, but keep going.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if that ends up playing out by the end of it. Okay, Orisha, the ascendant beings that gave it. Orun, the gifts of the Orisha, massive megastructures that each encompass a star at the center. So it basically is a Dyson sphere. Homeworlds of the Union of Ascendancy. People, the term used to represent the diverse alien species. Player, also known as PC.
Well, they can't use Dyson sphere because
They got to be. I will admit, I always get a little annoyed when I see different for the sake of different.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh. Let's see.
Don't reinvent the fucking wheel. It's annoying.
I firmly one credo that I live by when it comes to design. You have to understand the rules before you can break them.
Yeah.
Let's see. And Sopona, a mnemonic viral corruption of the Orisha's ascendant teachings. Dangerous and virulent, the Sopona virus allows one aspects of ascension without true enlightenment. Okay, so we've got our dark side analog.
Wait. I'm calling it now. Somewhere in here will be the equivalent of a white man with a pith helmet and and a gun and an elephant gun saying "By crikey."
Wait, was
So let's keep going.
that a you know, he died the way he lived, with animals in his heart.
Yes.
I'd say that I'm going to hell, but I'm in Minnesota, so moot point. And I see that Robin's in the chat, and that is an absolute lie, Robin. There are no gentlemen here, only assholes. Let's see, what is my character's goal? To make the universe better. Well, fuck you for saying what my character's goal has to be.
Yeah, but continue reading.
All right, what kind of adventures can I expect in Orun? Action and adventure, political drama, and self-discovery. Okay, so...
I'm sorry, this is so fucking pretentious it hurts. It's about making a broken world right.
You know, it could be argued that Exalted kind of hinted at that, but there's also the fact that aside from how corrupt Exalted's world is, Exalted was kind of going for that mythic over the topness, so it gets a pass regarding that, because they're given.
I'm sorry, but there's an old saying, you know. Every time somebody says we just want to make the world a better place, my father used to tell me this, especially growing up when I turned out to be able to fight. My father told me something very simple. You know, you just want to make the world a better place, but that's all Hitler wanted. Your version of a better place might be somebody else's hell. So whenever somebody says it's about making a broken world right and helping others, I'm sorry, but that way leads to tyranny and dystopia.
All right, let's see. So it looks like we're finally getting into a bit of crunch. So,
can my character change the galaxy? Without your character's help, there is no story. You're at the center of the story. Oh my God, you've got to be the chosen one. The story, the galaxy, and the stories within belong to you. God, this player empowerment shit is getting old. And I'm a power gamer.
Now, again,
get out of the kitchen.
The concept of you shaping the story. The thing is that only really that's the sort of thing that only really works when you wear the over the top on its sleeve regarding space opera. That's the reason why nobody bats an eye at the fact that Flash Gordon is guaranteed to save every one of us.
Yes. And
I know some people hate that movie, but I'm sorry, fuck you. That movie is the greatest space opera ever, and I will fight anybody who tells me otherwise.
Absolutely.
I actually got the autograph of the guy who played Flash Gordon.
Gold Mankini and everything.
Mm-hmm. Nicest guy ever.
And yes, I did meme the hell out of not the boar worms. But anyway, so choose aura plus skill combo, apply modifiers, make roll and compare to a success chart, DM works result. So I guess auras are basically supposed to be the core ability scores, I guess. But this is so we have grace for speed, coordination, and balance. Harmony for interacting socially. Light for raw intelligence. Okay. Spirit for reversing averse effects and fueling some magics. I guess. And war for dealing directly with threats of an aggressive nature.
Okay.
Why intelligence has to be
light.
Well, the light and harmony parts, I'm not entirely sure about.
Yeah.
This is a cute layout here, though, but I get the feeling it might get a little annoying.
To me, it's very vague.
Yeah. Okay, let's see skills.
Mhm.
So we have adapt, covert, culture, entertained, inspect, interface, learning, motion, medic, repair, rapport, repair, and weapons. Okay, nothing too out of the ordinary there.
That is not a good skill lab.
Well, not every game is gonna have gonna have the Shadowrun skill list, man.
No. This is a problem.
Oh, okay, I'll bite.
Okay, we found an alien computer system. What skill do I use to figure out if I can interface with it? Do I use inspect? Do I use interface? Do I use repair? This is not good.
Yeah.
On one hand, I can see where you're going. On the other hand,
from a designer point of view, it's not good.
Yeah.
They need to either rapidly expand on this or they went for the bare minimum skills. There's such a thing as cutting it too. A good example is this reminds me a lot of second edition's non-weapon proficiencies. They were good on the surface, but there was too many holes and too many
second edition what?
AD&D.
All right. Well, I think I said before that the whole proficiency thing in AD&D was undercooked, and it's also, and if you want to see it done right, look at Adventure Conqueror King system.
Yeah.
Okay, choose aura plus skill combo. All right. Determine bonus. For example, if a player has Grace 3 and Covert 3.
Schematic of the building with light plus interface. What in the fucking when you land your fucking spaceship at the fucking starport? War plus motion to knock this thing out. Oh my god, this is ripe for fucking abuse.
Yeah. Now, to be honest, I honestly think that instead of using skills, they should have used something akin to the background setup that 13th Age does, especially given how abstract the auras in this case seem to be. And the way backgrounds work is that it is intentionally broad, and it's a case of if it applies, roll it. In a non-combat sense, obviously.
Harmony plus adapt is useful for interacting with wild beasts. No, that should be harmony plus rapport. Okay, I'm gonna stop because
they really don't know their definitions.
No.
Whoever wrote this does not know their definitions.
Okay, apply modifiers, whether aura points. Okay, so we've got an extra effort mechanic. Every game needs an extra effort mechanic. But only if it corresponds with the aura in question. That sounds a little bit too close to the cipher system.
Yeah.
Edges can be spent for. Okay, there's another fucking currency.
Yeah.
Another currency and talent. Another currency.
That's kind of like action points, isn't it?
See, talents. I'm not seeing that as a currency, but we'll see that may just be a standard bonus.
She's background in homeworld talents. It's up for GM and player discussion. Yeah, that's
okay.
Wow.
I ate my hamburger. Yummy.
No, I'm talking about the edge one. Edges can be spent.
I'm guessing that edges are effectively a Joker card.
Okay.
how quickly they recharge is going to be a different. Is going to
Yeah, it kind of does remind me of action points in a way.
reminds me of the combat pool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Apply difficulty. So it's a modifier. Okay. So the success determination. I'm not a big fan of this sort of approach. I'd rather have tiered minimums for difficulty, and use degrees based off of that. The kind of thing you might see in Shadowrun, the kind of thing you might see in D&D, the kind of thing you might see in L5R, and so on and so forth. But the idea that it's a baseline and the difficulty is a modifier.
Yeah, this really bothers me because it's number one. Note: if a player rolls an 11 or 14, they can either choose to succeed with a hitch or simply fail. This whole thing is okay. I want to take over the 6,000-year-old alien combat AI, aboard this xenophobic race's battle cruiser. Oh, I rolled a 15 on the dice.
Mm-hmm. And
even if it's legendary, oh, I can still get it. LOL. I'll just take a success with a hitch.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Like, okay,
well,
I'm gonna go blow up. I'm gonna blow up the Death Star. You roll
to
the 1.
give a bit of comparison. Here's how it works with say Warhammer. You roll under every 10 that you roll under your stat, plus or minus 30 depending on difficulty. Every 10 that you beat the target number is a degree of success.
Sorry about that. My wife wanted to ask me something.
But the whole thing of the degrees of success that we have here, I get the feeling that could be rife for abuse, especially since you can spend edge to boost your rolls.
Yeah, I can see all kinds of problems with it already as a designer and just as a GM. I'd be like, this. Okay, this is what leads to your DM asking you to roll a harmony and adaptability to climb out of the cart. And then give him like 5 rolls to get to the end so you don't slip in the mud and impale yourself on a pencil.
Yeah.
GM works results into story.
Oh, well, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I'll let that one pass because, again, quick start. So, okay, conflict challenges. Simple opposition. If 2 or more characters compete at a task, they roll against each other to see who wins, resulting in a simple win-lose test. Okay, battles. Now we're getting into the shit.
I want to see some of their creatures so I can see just how lopsided this shit is.
Yeah.
Okay, initiative. Participating players roll 1d10 and add the most relevant aura, such as war for a wrestling match or harmony during an argument. That seems a pretty lazy way to include social combat. Especially.
Yeah.
Like I think so. I feel like something like social combat should be its own subsystem instead of trying to clumsily integrate it with normal combat.
It damn near has to be. I mean,
right.
look at our D&D game. Most of our D&D game right now is social combat.
Yeah.
Yep. And Dad, thank you for this. Thank you for the sub. Now, as far as the whole thing of special snowflake, I can't quite agree there, but I can see where you're coming from.
We're edging into it, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see, turns.
Get that out of your mouth.
Sorry, just had to make sure it wasn't recording something they didn't need to. Each character gets one turn. When every player is gone, this is considered a round. What? No mention of how many actions you get. No action economy. It's just you go.
Everybody gets one roll, I guess.
I don't care for that.
This is a problem because
You're a good girl.
you know, how long is each turn? What's an extended turn? How long does a task take? I mean, by that, the guy reprogramming a computer has to make, one roll to write an OS, and the other guy's making one roll to throw a punch. This is not good action economy.
Yeah, I feel that's putting way too much pressure on the GM, and the GM's going to already be under enough pressure as it is just by running a game.
And quick start rules are supposed to be bare bones, but your action economy is one of your most important because that's how they're going to be playing your game.
Let's see. Rolling. The process works the same as skill challenges. 2d10 plus aura plus skill plus modifiers. The difficulty is based on defense. If it's based on defense value, then that's all the more reason to not use that baseline chart that we saw a couple pages ago. Because
so I guess when we go back a page and it says when two people are competing, you roll against each other. The poor GM has so much to fucking do by this point.
Yeah. All right. Characters have two values to defend with passive and active. A passive defense is a static value, and attackers must roll against. This is the natural defense a hero has without needing to actively react. An active defense, to protect themselves further, they can choose to actively defend against an attack, increasing their value by doubling their aura bonus. Each time they do this, they suffer a cumulative -2 penalty.
Oh, okay. Which comes out
just by standing there.
Okay, so an active defense. Okay, this reads right here like somebody who has never fought in their life. It does. It reads like someone who has never fought in their life.
Is it because of the whole cumulative penalty thing?
It's the passive and active defenses. Okay, this is supposed to be a space opera game. Okay, for the sake of argument, I have a suit of power armor. Are my kinetic shields an active or passive defense? Is my ballistic shield active or passive? Is my crystalline fog dispenser fucking active or passive? No, this does not work.
Yeah.
What I'm immediately reminded of is the two types of defense in Anima. Except in that case, they didn't do some active or passive thing. It is you can either block or you can dodge. And of course, some attacks are unblockable. Some attacks you can't dodge, and so on.
Palladium had it too. You could parry or dodge. Parry didn't cost you anything. Dodge cost you your next attack.
All right. Applied damage. If the attacker rolled higher than the defense, then there are a number of factors they can inflict. Margin deals 1 damage for every 2 they roll higher than the defender, rounded down. Okay, congratulations. You made that chart we saw a couple pages ago pointless. Let's see. Edges. Spending an edge adds +2 to their attack value, thus granting +1 damage. I repeat what I said about how the edge thing could be rife for abuse.
We have got some problems.
Because maybe it's just me, but does it seem like the way we've seen edges so far feel like it could be a snowball problem?
Yeah. You got players like me. It gets real ugly real quick.
See, gear. Equipment like clashers and blasters often deal a base damage value, which is then increased by their margin. Okay. Multiple actions. Okay, now we have some instance of an action economy. If somebody wants to act more than once, they suffer a cumulative -3 penalty to their rolls. I've never been the biggest.
Whoa. Now if you read that example, all of a sudden they bring up target numbers.
Yeah. Read specifically where they brought it up.
The politician has a passive defense of 10, which is now the target number they are trying to hit.
I reiterate my original stance. This thing right here, pointless.
Yeah. Go back again. Go back to it again because I want to keep. No. Okay. Let's see. The politician is insulted and pulls out an agile blaster from his cloak and firing it with the intent to kill. Okay. Once again, somebody who's never met in a fight in their life. He clocks him in the face and then stands there while dude opens his cloak, reaches in, pulls out the blaster, and points it. I'm sorry. You go for something in a cloak, I'm going to see if I can break your nose off. That's why drawing a weapon in all other games is an action.
You want to know what would be an easy way to? You want to know what would be an easy fix for this? And it's so easy. I almost want to kick myself that whoever wrote this didn't think of it.
Yeah, action economy. 1,
action economy. 2, say that it's a holdout pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's on a fucking snap.
Yeah.
Which would give him a bonus to give him a gear bonus to initiative, meaning he gets to go before her.
Yeah. Okay. With a +4 bonus against passive defense of 14. Thinks that's just too close to comfort for you, so he uses active defense of 18. The GM rolls an 8 for a total of 12, and this is needy entirely.
Notice that according to this, the GM rolls and that the player got to decide if he wants to use an active defense or not once the roll has happened.
Maybe it's just me, but the timing for declaring an active defense should be right after you're targeted. Not during the roll. That makes no sense. Suffers a -2 penalty on the next attack roll. This would be very easily solved by just having a action economy.
Yeah, and I could think you could just fucking whack that up and end up with some dude that by the time you can pull out 5 attacks and it's the 5th attack that you're running off of bare dice.
Wow.
Well, I've never been the biggest fan of this sort of the big problem that I have with these sort of cumulative penalties is that they almost punish multiple actions.
Oh, they flat out do.
Yeah. And because of that, people are going to be much more encouraged to play it safe and only do 1 action each round. And in some cases, rack their brains about which action they're going to do.
And it does say multiple actions.
And it doesn't tell you whether or not it's each action gains an additional -3 or if it's on all the actions.
Let's see. If a player wants to act more than once on their turn, they can, but at a cost. For every action. First.
JT, I already read that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what this person's. Okay.
Your butt is cold.
This is gonna really.
That's cold because you peed. Yes, you peed.
Okay, aura and wounds. Combined auras grant them a good deal of damage reduction, representing near misses, attacks that only graze them, or even attacks that taken point blank but primarily absorbed by aura.
Okay.
This is the reason a luminary can run through the battlefield unharmed, or take a punch from a hulking alien monster and live to tell the tale. It acts automatically as a defensive ability for luminaries.
There you go. I know.
But they may also proactively utilize the energy swirling around them if they are properly trained to do so.
I think she's got like pull-ups or something.
The most powerful manipulators of their aura are called griots. So, you know, if you just said that aura is the equivalent of ki, then I'd be willing to give you a bit more of a pass. Let's see, and some other adversaries have just as much control over their aura as the luminaries.
Yeah. Well, that means in order to compete for any NPC to compete, honestly, he has to have an aura. I mean, why is this guy even worried about an agile needler if he's got an aura and the other guy doesn't? He can just stand there and take it.
I'm assuming that it's still a semi-finite resource. I'd like to hope. We'll see if they disappoint me. Let's see. It can be used for damage reduction. Spending 1 point of any kind for each point of damage they would take. Ability activation. Let's see. Instant bonus and scene boons. In each scene of an adventure, many different boons are listed. Aura or edges can be spent to unlock these boons, granting an advantage to the heroes or a disadvantage to the antagonists in the process. That's something I could see getting abused.
They must have watched too many Star Crasher movies.
Oh God, aura, the most powerful manipulators of Kagriot. Yeah, okay. Damage reduction, ability activation, instant bonus, scene boons. Yeah, this reads like the Forge crashed into fucking Shadowrun playtest rules.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, and they watched it Star Crasher.
Let's see. Wounds. And also, I need to point out one little thing regarding the yellow text. And this is where that background thing is rearing its ugly head. For the most part, it's not that big of an issue for me. But it really sticks out when you have this highlight text like right here.
My problem is it's shutting down my left eye because it makes everything blurred.
Because once a character has no more aura to reduce damage, they are without their natural luminary defenses and begin to take on wound damage. Some weapons / powers even bypass aura altogether, making those especially deadly. Some characters are tougher than others and can take lots of wounds, while others are frail and have a low wound value. If wounds are ever reduced to 0, the hero is now injured. They can still act, but roll only 1d10 for challenges instead of 2d10, putting them at a severe disadvantage. If they take additional damage equal to their wounds while injured, then they perish. I'm not entirely sure if effectively cutting your dice rolling in half is the right way to go.
Oh, so the politician has aura. Holy fuck.
This is pretty much way too much Star Wars.
You could just dispense with the auras altogether, but then I guess you wouldn't have your magical space points and shit.
Let's see, healing. You can recover 2 aura. You recover 2 aura at the beginning of every scene, as long as it doesn't bring you over maximum.
You know, Shadowrun was very specific with recovering your dice pools. This is, you're going to spend half your first game arguing what a scene is. And there's just too many problems.
Let's see. Here, Many metagear tools can heal aura or wounds.
Okay, I want to know how they heal aura.
Yeah, that I think I would only really be able to tolerate it if these quote unquote chosen people have certain rituals or the like that's specific to them, not general medical tools. Like when I think of recovering aura, I'm thinking less of a combat medic and more of calling in the witch doctor.
Yeah.
See, talents. Some characters possess powers that allow them to heal their allies or even themselves. Okay. Edges. When a successful task goes off just right, creating opportunities for greatness, it's called an edge. Mechanically, this means either the hero has a special talent that grants an edge, or they've rolled so well they gain one edge instantly. They can only have up to 4 at any given time. Okay. Let's see. Earning. A roll of 19 plus during a skill challenge, which effectively means you could spend edge to make sure that you roll 19 and then get that edge back.
This benefits the NPCs more than it does the players.
Which in some games having the NPCs having a bit of an advantage I could see, but a space opera is supposed to on some level be a power fantasy.
Yes.
So it's not so it's a case of good idea, wrong genre. During conflicts, players receive an edge if their margin is over 5.
What margin? She's playing with toys. She's playing with toys. Toys.
See, I
Two.
think.
She's a crayon.
Oh, that's what they mean. If when doing an attack, if they beat the defense by 5.
So if they beat it by 5, they get this. If they beat it by 3, they get this. Get your fucking shit straight.
Yeah. Players can give the GM a hitch voluntarily to earn an edge, even if the result doesn't usually grant one.
There's that asshole at the table. Every fucking time.
That guy?
Hitch. I want to take a hitch. I want to take a hitch. I'm going to throw you through a plate glass window, I swear to God.
Let's see. Using edges. +2 to a roll. Instantly heal 1 aura. Reroll 1 die with a
that is too powerful.
It's what? The whole instantly heal 1 aura?
No, reroll 1 die that rolled a 1. You need to blow 2 edges for that shit.
Let's see. Shake off a negative effect such as fear or pain. If it ends up being you can spend 1 edge to shake off a negative result, that is a negative effect. That almost makes them pointless.
Too many rules. Too many rules.
It's not an issue of too many rules. It's an issue of rules of mechanics undercutting other mechanics.
That's true.
Let's see, 1 aura of the appropriate type can be spent to access a scene boon, which creates an advantage.
Wait, when did auras come into this?
They add bonuses to another.
Except this is about edges.
Yeah.
An easy way to fix. To me, an easy way to fix this. An edge is an aura point that can be spent on any type.
Okay.
Without dipping into your type pools. There. Am I off base on that, Ralts?
No, you got it. It's just I think they put aura when they meant edge.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard to tell because the way they're saying is that you put aura, you put edge, those all can stack up together. I think they're
which is why I think that edge should have just been a wild card resource.
Yeah. And I think if they use a aura to stack all the other abilities and then try to use edge, that's going to be a little bit too overpowered.
Let's see. Hitches.
Yeah.
A hero's potential for heroics is often tempered by the chance that everything could go wrong at almost any moment. This is called a hitch. Mechanically, a hitch creates complications, penalties, or opportunities for the GM. Hitches are kept as a pool of points only the GM can spend. A hitch is earned on a low roll of 6 or lower, or optionally 11 to 14. Gain hitches equal to a location's threat level when characters travel there, from 0 to 3. GM begins the sessions with hitches equal to the number of players. So we've got the equivalent of Doom pools in Marvel Heroic or the Dark Side points in Star Wars FFG.
Or NPC points for Shadowrun.
Yeah. Let's see. Using hitches. Below are some common effects. The GM cannot spend more than 2 hitches for any single action or effect. Why is there not a similar limitation for edges?
Player empowerment.
I'm just saying, when you're doing this sort of thing where both the players and the GMs have an extra effort thing, the idea is that there's a degree of equality to
this has been play tested by their friends.
Yeah.
This hasn't been play tested. I used to have the people on Endworld play test it, and Realms of Evil play test my stuff that didn't like me as a person, because I knew they would do everything they could to break my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, below are common effects. Raise an antagonist defense by 3. -2 to a player's roll. Deal 2 damage to using a hitch to do damage straight like that, or deal wounds. Or right, sorry, heal wounds.
It comes out of nowhere and hits you in the face. One wound.
Calm down.
That seems like it would be rife for that GM.
Move down. There you go. Thank you, little butt.
Good job.
Sorry, like I said, I'm babysitting.
Negate an edge effect. That is definitely something that could get abused by that GM.
Oh, but you can't use it to negate a voluntary edge. Well, is there any other edges?
Let's see. Double an existing penalty a hero is suffering.
Oh, Jesus.
Disable or damage.
I want to swing 3 times. I want to shoot my pistol 3 times this round. That's a -3 for each action. That's 9. Oh, well, I'm going to spend a hitch, so now it's -18. Good luck, sucker. Disable or damage minor equipment. There are GMs out there that will argue that the trigger assembly on your rifle is minor equipment.
Yeah, and to be honest, disabling or damage minor equipment, that should be something as a punishment for you fucking up the roll at a crucial time. All right, character advancement. A bit odd that they'd be talking about advancement in a quick start. Let's see, path trials.
This is also supposed to showcase it to convince me to donate to the Kickstarter.
All right, path trials, aura. Every luminary is on their own path, even if they have converged together in their current service to the union of ascendancy. This is called the journey, the thing each hero strives for and how their growth is reflected. When we follow the path of war, looking to advance their knowledge of aggression and death. Maybe it's just me, but isn't it counterproductive of the Orun of the Jal being assigned to enlighten the universe, and yet one path of enlightenment is combat?
This is actually, I can understand the path of war if it was, seek to bring balance, restore the rules of land warfare to a galaxy that's descended into barbarism. No more using masers on fucking planets.
No, okay, that
knowledge of aggression and death is so fucking hypocritical and so fucking. It starts with a P, but it's not presumptuous, but it's just so goddamn hypocritical in a fucking RPG where the majority of your problem solving is going to come at the end of a fucking pistol.
I remember a lengthy thread back when I didn't know better regarding the Forge, where somebody posited the idea of making an anti-violent game, one that discourages
My life
violence.
with Master. How about you? You know what? I know what your life with Master was, and it didn't involve magic.
Yeah, I have not played My Life with Master because I could not find anybody willing to suffer through it with me.
I asked my wife if she wanted to play that, and she was like, "Is that some kind of kinky S&M thing?"
Although when you brought that up, Ralts, there is a certain image I'm going to share with you because I think it's a pro. Let me see.
I mean, what it is, the path of war, learning to advance their knowledge of aggression and death. War is a hell of a lot more than that. What about discipline? What about loyalty? What about teamwork? What about organization? Guess what a lot of fucking high-ranking generals used to know about? Farm production, because an army's got to fucking eat. This is the most pretentious fucking bullshit. Because then, the path of harmony, hoping to bring balance and understanding to the galaxy. That is straight out of Star Wars. Because you know what real balance says? Real balance says that for every enlightened world out there, I have to go turn another world into a death pit.
When you mentioned the joke regarding My Life with Master, this was the image that immediately came to mind.
Which one?
Check your Skype.
This better not be a picture of your dick. But no, seriously, look at they're using. Oh yeah, I've got that. I love that one. They've got their harmony thing, and you notice it's the Star Wars version of harmony, and the Star Wars version of balance. Because I'm sorry, Vader did bring balance to the Force. He exterminated all but a handful of them.
Not to mention, if you, as the guy who did that Philosophy of Kreia video, which I do highly recommend everybody watch. It's a long ass video, but it's worth it. But he said that the ultimate ideal for the quote unquote light side could be argued as just as bad as the dark side, if not worse. It is one of complete and utter stillness.
Well, let's not forget on Kryn for the Dragonlance game, good had become ascendant and completely dominating. So what? And the church wouldn't permit any evil acts by their own definition of evil. So what did the gods do? They hucked a fucking mountain at them.
See, anyway, auras advance by way of paths. When a hero experiences an in-game event that corresponds to their chosen path, they have two options. Mark 2 trials to the aura associated with their chosen path, or mark 1 trial for a different aura.
So every fight that the guy with the path of war gets in, he gets to mark 1. Yeah, that's not gonna... Okay.
Yeah, that's something that needs a lot more specificity. I know that this is a quick start, but people are still going to run it. And we've already seen plenty of things that could get easily abused, especially if you've got that guy or if you've got that GM. Let's see. Once they have attained a number of path trials equal to their current aura plus 1, they raise their aura level by 1.
So the dude with Path of War beats up one hobo in an alley, and now he's aura level 2. The guy with the Path of Harmony teaches a fucking beggar kid how to wipe his ass, and now he has a fuck. You know what? Explain what a trial is.
Maybe it's just me, but given that this is supposed to be some sort of space opera, I would think that a trial should be a little more big.
Yeah, it should be more fighting Vader than watching the droids down at Hachi Station.
Mm-hmm.
Get together.
At the very least, the virtue system regarding Exalted, it is never designed to be subtle. In fact, nothing in Exalted is designed to be subtle. Everything is designed to be big in that Greek myth kind of way.
Okay.
Below are a few sample trials they can experience for auras. Each of these should be large in scope. Exactly. For instance, get extremely intoxicated but still succeed in your task for spirit. can't just be drinking during downtime. The hero's act of getting drunk should have a story effect that makes an impact on themselves or others in some way. Also, not all path trials.
I got drunk and fucking stole a cop car because I wanted to pet the dog.
Okay, let's see what they give for example. For grace, entertain a crowd who once hated you. Perform an elaborate trick that fools everyone. Escape a situation but leave nothing behind. Lose an important contest.
Leave something behind.
But leave something behind. Sorry. Lose an important contest. Purposely draw unwanted attention from an extreme danger. So most of those four I don't have too much of a problem with. That last one though, that could get abused.
That belongs in war.
Yeah. Harmony. Broker an alliance between one's enemies. Okay. Deliver an important message against the odds. Okay. I'm pretty sure there's been at least one Civil War poem about that kind of thing.
Yeah. Johnny, don't be a hero.
Mm-hmm. Make a concession to get something you want. That's a bit borderline.
That says bug the DM until you get what you want.
Yeah. Break a confidence you hold dear.
Betrayal.
Yeah, I can go with that. Intentionally tell a great falsehood. Borderline, it's more about how great of a falsehood.
Harmony, you have to have balance.
When it comes to that whole great falsehood thing, I think that should be the equivalent of telling the prince of the nation who believed for the longest time that he has a birthright to rule, saying, sorry kid, you're adopted.
So does it count if I convince the queen that anal doesn't count as cheating?
Let's see. Light. Find a clever solution to a seemingly impossible problem.
Not just a solution, but a clever solution.
Does that seem a bit weasel wordy to you?
Yes.
Solve a difficult puzzle in record time. Oh, big fucking deal. Have you seen what the Rubik's Cube Championship people do?
Yeah.
I'm
one of those people that try to do solve the Rubik's Cube on YouTube, and then I'm like, why do I have purple squares? And why is one side of my cube plaid?
I mean, I've seen that. I've watched YouTube clips of the. You know what's a good way to destroy your confidence in Tetris? Watch a clip of Tetris pros playing the game. And,
yeah.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, I'm never doing that. It's, as I pointed out on Twitter, it is both fascinating and horribly demoralizing. Let's see. Settle for a good solution instead of a great one. That's borderline. Help someone else's plan succeed when it was counter to your own. That's rife for abuse. Deliberately go with a bad idea. That is definitely rife for abuse. The only way I could possibly see that working is if somebody suggests doing a suicide run and you go with it.
See, this is all weasel word crap. These aren't good examples.
I think they need to rewrite this, but then again, that would cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Spirit. Stop a fight without participating in the violence.
Yeah.
Remain calm in a stressful situation. That's going to be abused. Break something important, but accomplish your mission. That's almost every.
So I grab the guy's rifle and break it over my knee, and then fucking flip the switch.
That one sounds like every successful Shadowrun.
Yeah. That sounds like every successful paranoia run.
Yeah.
Well, with every successful paranoia run, there's usually about a dozen dead PCs.
Yeah.
Get extremely intoxicated, but still complete your task. I would be more willing to accept that in a wuxia game like Weapons of the Gods or Keen, where you already have a precedent for somebody getting ridiculously drunk.
that would be acceptable in our Pathfinder game because, you know, the chances of getting extremely intoxicated are extremely high. Here, sniff this.
Let's see. Fight back an intense poison or disease.
So character survival.
I think I would only really be willing to let that one slide if the mere act of getting the antidote is an arc in and of itself.
Yeah, because they make it sound like he's going to be actually fighting the physical manifestation of the disease. So apparently we wait till Nurgle comes home from work, throw a burlap bag over his head, and beat him with sticks.
Let's see. War. Lead a decisive victory against the enemy.
We'll show those Girl Scouts who's boss.
Start an ill-advised fight you may not win.
Well, that's called Friday night when I fight some bald dude with biker tattoos.
Forge a peace treaty to stop a conflict. Shouldn't that be in harmony?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surrender to a lesser opponent.
No.
Destroy your opponent, but at a great cost. So again, isn't that like a Friday night when you fight somebody with biker tattoos?
Yeah, because you got two broken knuckles, and and you think you may have caved in the left side of your face.
I don't even know how. They're gonna end up rewriting this whole thing because because this will turn into Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 because they had to rewrite the rules for that because the rules were really vague back then.
You want to know? The vibe that I'm getting at with a lot of this is the first generation of the Tri-Stat system.
Yeah,
the thing that was used for Big Eyes Smallmouth and Silver Age Sentinels, as well as a few other games.
True.
Which its second edition was very good because he realized he can't just rip off Amber. And I don't even like Amber. I will cover it one of these days, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of diceless games, and before anyone says anything, no. If you're using a deck of cards or a card-based system, you don't count as a diceless game. When I think of a diceless game, I'm thinking of something with no randomizers, period. Anyways,
one of these days I got to get around to playing Amber. I never even looked at it.
Amber's not bad. It's just not for me.
Well, they've had what 30 years to perfect it. 35.
Yeah. I might be willing to give it a second look because I remember not being fond of it a long ass time ago. But then again, I also remember the fact that I willingly subjected myself to Shaq Fu as a little kid, so I don't trust my memories entirely.
I played Cyborg Commando and Aftermath, so
didn't you also suffer through Phoenix Command?
Yes.
At least I didn't suffer alone.
And played first edition Top Secret.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Advancing skills is quite easy in Orun. Anytime the hero fails a task, they roll low enough a failure to choose a failure instead of a success with a hitch. They mark a trial for that skill. Once they have the attained number of trials equal to their current level plus 1, they erase all their trials and raise the level by 1.
Oh, Jesus.
That is not easy. That bullshit, that's easy.
They took failing forward and shoved it straight in their ass.
That's not how failing forward works. That is the complete opposite of how failing forward is supposed to work.
According to this, by electrocuting myself working on my TV, I learned fucking electronics.
Easy fix for this sort of thing. If every time you roll well, you can choose to drop the edge and give yourself a trial. And when I mean well, I mean you get a 19 total or more. or you roll double nines or something.
Oh wow! No skill can receive more than one trial per scene.
That's okay. At least they're trying to limit it, but I could still see this getting abused.
So performing the same task over and over will not net a level raise.
But we go back to that whole, you know, I've seen World of Darkness use the terms and the storyteller system use the term scene, but in the GM section of those books, they actually give some ideas about what a scene is supposed to be by equating it to a TV episode. Huh?
They break that shit down into a TV episode or a chase scene.
Mm-hmm. See, group rewards. At the beginning of the session, each player receives 2 XP chips. These can be given to others as a free trial mark during the session under certain circumstances. Why would you do advancement before you start? Oh, I see where they're going with this. This is basically, and these are basically applause chips. Tenra has a similar thing with how they have ki work, except with the whole ki and I key setup that they have. You can get I key and use that to convert to ki. Any that you spend gets converted to karma at the end of the scene.
So from what we see, this is basically the players are in charge of handing out the XP.
Let's see. If they do not give them away, the player does not keep them. This is something that should be instead of handing this to the players. This is something that should be handled by the GM.
Yeah.
As well. I can only see this working if it worked the way that Ike did, where after you do something extremely well, you can get some sort of applause from one of the other players. Let's see, but the circumstances that they give are way too vague. Let's see, reading your sheet. Talents. Every hero has a number of talents that make them special. These range from special abilities granted by species, background, or their homeworld, and each one tells you who the hero is and what they can do beyond just a series of numbers on a sheet. Some talents simply occur passively, such as Always Prepared, which adds +2 to initiative, while others are more active and require you to spend aura or edges. Again, I maintain that an easy way to balance out the whole edge thing is you can gain them the same way. It's just that you use them as wild cards. Let's see. Be sure to
talents.
All right. We're probably going to see some talent examples in the sheets, but let's see. Equipment. Anything not intrinsic to the hero is counted as equipment, including weapons, armor, tools, and even side companions. They come in 3 modes: agile, lighter weapons and armor, granting small bonus without much in the way of hindrance. Median, they take on a small hindrance but benefit from more protection or more damage. Heavy, they gain huge abilities like massive damage or damage reduction, but take penalties to use the equipment.
So they used agile instead of light, when agile makes you think more of, able to use it in close quarters. Yeah, no. They should have stuck with light, because they say right there, or lighter weapons.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Some tools, however, have a limitation of how many times they can be used, called charges. Once the charges have been depleted, the hero can no longer use them unless they either return to their ship or HQ to recharge, find duplicates of the item, or regain it up to 2 charges at the start of the session.
What the fuck? I take it they've never heard of ammo before? Or power cell? Jesus.
They really weren't.
I'm putting that as an out in case there actually is that, but we'll see. Reputation.
How many demerits do you think this is worth?
Oh, don't go ahead.
We'll get to that later.
Okay.
Reputation. Each luminary automatically receives 2 reputation from the Union of Ascendancy. This tells the players what sort of context and information they are good at unlocking or uncovering. It also grants them certain contacts they can call for assistance. Information. If the hero wants to reach out to contacts for info, they can make a harmony plus reputation level roll and receive information based on the degree of success. Why only reputation? I mean, one would think that this would be rife to. One would think that the reputation thing would be rife to be used by each type of aura. It's just that the type of contact you're able to get in with differs. Like if I wanted to get in contact with somebody from the local army, I'd use reputation plus war. If I wanted to get in contact with somebody from the university, reputation plus light, and so on. I think it ties back into the whole idea of I don't like the notion of one trick attributes, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
This is now. Here's where your chart comes in.
Yeah, and here we go again. I already established that chart is pointless. It look. What's the quickest route from point A to point B?
A straight line.
Exactly. So do you see why the chart thing and how they handle degrees of success is pissing me off?
Yeah.
I wonder how space travel will look like.
Oh God.
Let's see. Assistance. If the player chooses to call in a contact for assistance, they enter the scene and grant a bonus associated with their skill. For instance, if Mobo is having a hard time figuring out a delicate puzzle, he can call upon his mentor, Naed, who would grant +2 learning as they try and figure it out together.
Does Force Ghost appear? You know, because here's Mobo on the desert world of Go Fuck Yourself trying to undo that ancient fucking puzzle of where did my dong go? What's he going to call on the fucking space phone and fucking Nate appears as a Force Ghost?
Probably some holographic ghost.
Also, I do have to point out a few things that Raman had said. Oh wow, I've had pneumonia, babies, strep, allergies, bronchitis, etc. So by their reasoning, I'm a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
And of course, charges. Damn, somebody needs to invent batteries. Yes, they do, Raman. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, resource points. Resource points represent money in Orun, but are not necessarily counted on a 1-for-1 basis with dollars. Something cheap may cost 1 RP, while an extremely expensive item like a ship may cost upwards of 8. Heroes can gain RP by completing tasks, and these can be spent to buy additional equipment, armor, weapons, tools, even ship upgrades.
Oh look, it's the wealth DC from Die 20 Modern and Die 20 Future.
Except it isn't, because you're still spending.
Yeah.
There's no universal currency or another currency.
No, it's not a matter of universal currency. It's a matter of with Die 20 Modern you rolled the wealth check, and I will admit I did an optional rule that if you fucked up you could burn wealth in order to try and get it. You just take a permanent decrease to.
Yeah, they actually did that with Die 20 with They actually did that with Unearthed Arcana. They expanded on it a little.
Wow. So they did include the burn rule.
Yeah.
Eclipse phase does the same thing with reputation, where if you fail a reputation roll, you can still succeed, but you're taking a permanent loss equal to the difference. The idea is you're really pushing your pool of resources and probably pissing off a few people. And World of Darkness does a similar thing with the fact that they don't track They don't track wealth in a typical currency. They have wealth as an advantage, saying, okay, this is the level of stuff. This is the level of stuff that you can reasonably get at your current level of income. But having it as something that you spend and then saying that it's not a currency.
Yeah.
Just have a currency. Have it as credits. Have it as space bucks. I don't care, but you can't have this both ways.
Yeah, regular stuff. Vehicles are done in kilo credits. Spaceships are done in mega credits, and everyday shit's just done in credits. That's how fucking Star Frontiers did it. They set the standard. Stick with it. Quit trying to reinvent the wheel.
Or if you want to go abstract, just use the wealth check.
Yeah.
Just have that as a type of aura. Bam, done. Pay me. Okay, peoples of Orun. Now we're gonna get to the actual aliens. Let's see.
Well, wait a minute. Let's look at their. I'm sorry, but I'm rating their mechanics all in all, overall, as a failure. Their mechanics have failed.
I'm writing it as the core is sound. It's just, the foundation is sound, but the building is the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
I disagree with it because having 2 die 10 and a fucking. I'm sorry, but having 2 die 10 and a fucking skill check chart that you rarely use, and then just having contested rolls, that's every 13-year-old's fucking game design. It might be sound, but yeah, it's not that hard to write a shitty chart and have 2 die 10.
For my own work, the only reason that I ended up using the only reason I ended up using 2 die 10, which I didn't use some sort of results chart. And actually, I just realized something. There is a game that I have that did this 2 die 10 thing better. 2 die 10 and result chart better.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of Master Book?
No, but I know fucking Top Secret did it before these guys and did it better.
Yeah, I was more familiar with Top Secret SI, which used a percentile thing, if I'm recalling correctly. And anyway, as far as the peoples, let's see, we have the Alam Nuro, a society built around the Stellar Song, an arrangement of cosmic microwave background radiation.
Okay.
Within their songs, universal secrets are held. Let's see. They are energy beings composed of superheated ionized gas with a dense ball of white light at the center. Very religious. Okay. See the hand of their unnamed sun god in all things. They're quick to fight when angered or. So, Vatican.
So they believe they're like angels and stuff.
Because they can hear the solar tides and they can hear the fucking solar flares and the photosphere fucking rumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Who fucking Ray?
Let's see. Bibochi. The aquatic Bibochi have a saying, I control wealth, so wealth does not control me. Oh, it's the fucking Ferengi.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the fucking Ferengi. I will hear no argument about it. You're building a society around wealth and commerce.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, replace Babachi with Ferengi for every single thing and tell me if it doesn't work for a Star Trek book.
Wait a minute. Okay, Hank, hold the fuck up. It says, in the times before Ascendancy, the Babachi were war profiteers, selling information and goods to the highest bidder. During this time, the Babachi built the greatest spy network known to the galaxy, with many informants of various species feeding information upward to the great information banks on their home world.
But during the war, many Bachi died to bring you this information.
I'm gonna have to use that as the subtitle for this. Many Babachi died to deliver this information on the Death Star.
Oh my god.
Let's see. Appearance. They are sea slugs. So I guess this is supposed to be an Babachi, and I think this is supposed to be an Alumnuro.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing these sort of race comparisons thing, you're supposed to have their names down here.
Yeah.
It's just basics.
Yeah. It's harder to tell which one's the cool one they want to pick.
So they're described as kind, polite, and generally welcoming, and yet they're built around wealth.
Yeah.
Excuse me. No conversation with a Babachi is ever without some sort of price or gain. Yeah. Again, they're fucking Ferengi.
The Fitora.
The Fitora. And insect people hailing from the Orun of Ina.
Of course they're an insect people. Holy fuck. When will these fucking half-wit fucking wannabe sci-fi readers realize insect people never fucking prosper? You know why? They have exoskeletons. Their muscles are attached to the exoskeleton. A human fist is going to be able to hit with enough strength to combine with their own musculature is going to shatter the plates and they suffocate. For fuck's sake, learn your fucking insect biology.
Yeah, but they're saying that Fitora are seemingly immortal.
Let's see.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. They're saying it says Fitora offspring are almost exact clones of themselves, carrying many of their memories, mannerisms, and skills passed down at a genetic level. They give birth to two versions of an egg, a drone and a Fitora. A drone is simply that, a small, semi-autonomous creature that acts at the behest of the Fitora parent. After several days of life, the drone dies unless the Fitora divests a piece of their soul to give it a permanent life. The other child produced by Fitora is an actual infant clone of the parent, who devours the parent to absorb its identity. Within a month, it is considered a full-fledged member of society.
Okay, now this all sounds neat, and it sounds like, ooh, so different. Yeah, this, from a science fiction point of view, does not work. I mean, a peaceful and knowledgeable race that they eat their parent to absorb the identity. Okay, so I'm a Fitora and I follow the path of war and I beat somebody else. What am I going to do to them? Because it's ingrained in my biology. I'm going to fucking eat them.
Let's see. So, guessing this is supposed to be a Fitora because it's the only thing that's closest to insect, even though that looks more like a plant than an insect.
I think that one's the sea slug.
Actually, nope. I got it wrong. I think this is supposed to be a Babachi, and this is supposed to be a Fitora. Again, put down the names. They speak of they are literally old souls. To them, all non-Fitora, with the exception of the hollow ones, perhaps, are children to be lectured to or given advice.
They're literally very old souls. So you know what I'm going to do just for shits and giggles?
Yeah.
I'm going to wait until after they have their big egg frenzy, and then I'm going to nuke one of their hives. Just for the absolute hilarity of those little fucking cannibals wake up and there's nobody to eat. Because I want to watch what used to happen back in the bad old days and take your old soul there.
Let's see. Koban, who don't even get an image. Although Kobans can speak verbally, they also use nonverbal communication facilitated by the manipulation of their skin and aura color. This allows the Koban to speak volumes to one another straightforwardly and truthfully. Kobans see it, but others cannot perceive these subtle and manipulative modifications. Since they are incapable of lying to one another, they perceive this as a sickness in others that do. How can one say a thing but emit energy to the contrary? This brings up something that I feel like they should have gone into further a little bit earlier. They should have had some. I'm not saying a full description, but some more detailed description than a damn sentence about what aura is.
Yeah.
And I'm not going with the whole it's just spirit energy. That's not something that needs to be explained. Bullshit.
They're able to use it as fucking armor.
I know I keep bringing up Exalted, but since they open themselves up with this whole quasi divine thing, I'm going to keep bringing it up until someone ties me down and makes me stop. Exalted dedicates a page and a half to introducing what essence is and why it's so important.
Fuck, let's look at Shadowrun. Fucking Shadowrun. Every fucking book talks about essence. Even the fucking NPCs talk about your essence, your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's quick start, but you got 19 pages.
19 out of 42 pages. Let's see. They are a spiritual people with a calm disposition, of course. Along their arms, legs, and back run what at first glance appear to be spines. In actuality, they're low-light receptors emitters. To the eye, all Koban are a solid shade of indigo and indigo blue and painfully attractive. Is somebody working in their fetish?
Yes.
Cameras are not as true. Now the idea of a race that primarily is 42 pages really a quick start, Ramen says? Yes.
Yes. When they finish this, it'll probably be about 10 times the size with half the information.
Yeah. Especially since a quick start is supposed to contain the rules, a quick idea of what the game is, and usually some sort of adventure or character sheets. And usually both if they know what the hell they're doing. But I feel like several of the races here are meant to almost read like they're Mary Sue-ish kind of races, if you know what I mean.
Oyan's society is matriarchal. Well, so are the cannibal bug people.
Yep. Mm. And all heritage is traced from the mother's side of the family. Although the culture has evolved to be more egalitarian, women still hold a disproportionately high share of power in Oyan society. Good for you. You managed to make your feminism degree actually work for something. Yeah. Your society's still fucked. The Oyans shared and traded openly with other peoples, where others brought aggression and war. The Oyans attempted to bring peace and prosperity. Okay.
Okay. My God, that's not how DNA works.
Hang on. I also encoded the mysteries of the Orishas technology into their DNA generations ago to guarantee the continuation of the Orishas lessons so long as Oyans existed.
That is not how DNA works.
If they're going with the genetic memory that if they're going with the since this is supposed to be a space opera, I'm willing to allow some flubbing of science, but
I'll allow it to be put in the telomerons, but that's not DNA.
Yeah. Technically. I mean, even the use of genetic memory in the Dune books is contentious. And hell, I barely tolerate the. It's not as bad as the way genetic memory is used in, say, Ass Creed, but still.
That's the old biofeedback shit, past life shit.
Which the idea of experiencing past lives, I'm perfectly fine with that. One of my favorite concept albums of all time is about someone experiencing a past life. But here's the difference: that was done by hypnotherapy, not by magic science.
Well, you know, the problem with past lives, have you ever noticed that they're always kings and queens, and they're never like peasant number 42 who starved to death and peasant number 38 who cut his leg on a rusty pitchfork and died of tetanus? Or peasant 19 who fucking died at the grand old age of childbirth?
Yeah, for what it's worth, the concept album I'm referring to is from Dream Theater. It's called Scenes from a Memory. The storyline is about a murder suicide that took place in 1940, and a modern man who was apparently haunted by it and tries to re-experience what happened using hypnosis. That's stretching it a little bit, but I'm more willing to buy that.
That's just crap.
Well, at least it's not a past life going we was Kangs and shit.
With the unique status as keepers of Orisha lore, they maneuvered into position of prominence early on.
I think the Oyan are supposed to be the human equivalent, but they kind of fucked it up. Especially, and I can't help but notice that we've got at least two races here that are up their own ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not in why we only need at worst you only need one type of elf, not two.
Well, where's the fallen races?
Supposedly the fallen sort was from that quote unquote mnemonic virus. Except Eclipse Phase did this a lot better with the Titans.
So Pepe memes and the Trump curse. Got it.
Let's see, worlds. We have Orun Ibinu. Let's see, homeworld of the Karak people and controlled by the Union. It's a jungle world crisscrossed by rivers and dotted by...
That's not how planets work.
So where's the crab people?
Let's see. Elagungun is one of the
Oh my god.
What?
They live in camp cities built high in the trees.
So it's a shit version of Kashyyyk.
There's a problem with this. How were they able to develop forging? And how were they able to ever develop any kind of they're still back at the wood age. They barely got into stone age. They're still flint knappers because in order to fucking mine, well, in order to get metals, they had to go down on the ground. In order to, their forges would have had to have been on the ground. Yeah, fuck you. That's not how planets and civilizations work. Take a fucking college course.
You know, at the very least, Kashyyyk, the Wookiee, the answer to that question regarding the Wookiees is they didn't.
No, the Imperials showed up with blasters and shit while they still had spears. And the Wookiees were like, them are some mighty fine blasters. What do we got to do? Eat these people. Not a problem.
Yeah. Elagungun is one. Its resources have only been recently discovered, making an ideal location for an enterprising mine to make a quick nest egg. But its geology is a bit unstable, making it risky for anyone who isn't desperate.
So is it Earth is it Earth unstable? Because Earth is pretty fucking unstable.
Let's see. It's a rocky planet, too wet to be a desert, but too dry to farm reliably. Its riches are found underground, occasionally pushed towards the surface in massive earthquakes.
That's not how planets work.
They never really studied.
They never do. They never go take a fucking college course.
The merchant houses run IEQ is a farming planet, one of the Union's bread baskets. orchards and farms covered the surface with. You know, I seem to recall Doku on one of the Sunday shows asking why is it that NPCs are so obsessed with food. But having a whole planet be a breadbasket, this leads once again, and I feel like we could make a drinking game. That's not how planets work.
Now, see, there are a lot of science fiction that are like, okay, this is a farming world. What it is it has a bucolic, temperate, a wide temperate zone, a wide green zone with even and predictable weather, and very low heavy metals, meaning the soil is not heavy metal toxic, which it becomes a farm world. Believe it or not, those are some of the most heavily guarded and garrisoned worlds in a space empire, because they're usually feeding all kinds of shit. They're all, off planet. There are massive fucking industrial farms specifically for food processing.
Right,
oh my God, orchards and farm cover the surface with only a few people needed to keep up with production.
I don't think that's how a farm world would work. I think it'd be too big for that.
Temperature is controlled to allow near constant growing season.
Once again, that's not how it works.
This isn't how farming works. It's a quiet planet. Hi, I'd like to introduce you to farmers.
I defy anybody to show me a quiet tractor or a quiet crop duster.
You know what they're picturing is one guy out there managing robots.
Have you ever seen Star Trek Insurrection?
Alien Insurrection?
No, Star Trek Insurrection.
Yeah, I saw it a while back.
There was a book that was unpublished by the writer of that called Fade In, and first off, even when I saw that thing when I was a kid, I did not buy the how quote unquote peaceful and rustic that planet was. And then about 3 years ago, I read through that book that was unpublished because somebody had shared it in PDF form with me, and everything was crystal clear that that Michael Piller, who was the writer, wanted a world that based around 2 words: rural simplicity.
Why do these people worship backbreaking hard labor that kills you by the time you're 40? Why?
I feel like they've watched one too many episodes of Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, they don't realize that Pa Ingalls died in his 50s. Laura was squeezing out kids by the time she was 17. There's nothing holy about fucking... You know what it is? Because the closest they've ever come to fucking fruit picking or agriculture was watching fucking wetbacks who jump the fucking border do it. And I'm not using it to describe Hispanics, so piss off algorithm. I'm using it to describe border jumpers. The poor bastards who arrive in America looking for a better life and end up fucking agricultural slaves. That's what they're used to fucking seeing. They have no idea what real farming is like. So it's bucolic and go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Okay, next one is Irin Io, a planet under the rule of the Oro Lords, created specifically for pleasure. Because of course we have to have a Vegas planet in a space opera. Let's see, it's flesh and
oh God, it's Planet Vegas.
At least on the surface, the seedy underbelly is as hard as any carapace. Backroom gambling dens calling to a less affluent element, still looking for a certain kind of rest and relaxation.
Okay, this shows they're fucking. When you talk about the seedy underbelly of a gambling city, I'm not thinking illegal gambling dens.
No.
I'm thinking, hey, how much to fucking shoot that poor person in the face?
I'm thinking human chess match with randos that they pulled out of the street.
Yeah.
Or illegal gladiator matches, or even Fight Club.
Or how much for that kid?
Yeah.
So far, I'm not impressed with any of this.
Aijin, an ocean world dotted with a few landmasses that peak above the waves, used mostly for landing pads for visiting spacecrafts. It is below the waves where the jewels of Aijin sparkle, vast cities teeming with life, but still retaining the calm of the waters.
Okay, number one, how shallow is this ocean? Number two,
whoever
is there?
You know, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the planet Camino regarding Star Wars.
No.
Like Camino and Manan, those were planets where the ecology was mostly underwater, except one with Manan, the ecology was extremely dangerous. Camino, there was no peaceful calmness with the waters. It's a constant storm.
See, I read stuff like Seas of Venus by David Drake. Or it's a little different. But, you know, what these people did is they have the Star Trek and the Star Wars idea of planets. They needed... Okay, I said this on N-World in 2003 and 2004. I will say it again. You can go down to the college and you can tell them, hi, I'm a writer. I want to hone my craft a little bit. Can I take a geology class? Can I take, what would you recommend for formation of planets and exoplanets? And can I take something on how cultures and civilizations are created? I can guarantee this person took the gender studies versions and not the hard science ones.
Yeah, and
because you know what? The hard science ones have math.
And hell, even when it comes to taking the Star Trek / Star Wars approach to planets, they still fuck it up.
Astrology.
But they're saying that Aijin is a center for medical advancement.
I can go there and buy my Jango Fett clones. That's what it is, right there.
Yeah, Aijin basically is trying to be Camino.
Yeah,
that's why I've heard that before. Thank
you. You're welcome. Okay, and then they go with the adventure called Flight of the Righteous Walker. The Jali are in the Konas system, helping a refugee ship evacuate to the surface during a fierce civil war between the conglomerate of the Wasi, a client government of the planetary controlling Kopalas Merchant House, and the People's Liberation Union, a group of disenfranchised workers wanting more for their poor world. You're thinking it. I know you're thinking it, Ralts.
Yep.
The refugee ship is in a locked docking bay in the orbital station and cannot escape until the doors are opened.
Now this is pod racing.
To the Jali, it doesn't matter which side is right. The refugees are in danger, and the outer blast doors need to be open for them to escape.
Fine, I roll my fucking dumbass aura with my fucking stupid skill and hijack the computer like I'm R2-D2 and open the door. Go fuck yourself. Adventure over.
Yep.
Yeah, because this is pretty
nice for them to tell me which side is apparently right, while at the same time saying that you're not.
Yeah, they want us to save when we want to save ourselves from this whole situation.
Yeah, when they say People's Liberation Union, I'm pretty sure they're down there fucking rounding people up and shooting them.
Yep. All right, let's see. GMCs. Talo Mock, a teacher turned leader of the refugees, who is a Koban.
Call them main characters.
Council Nilio Lawa represents House Kopalas' interest in the planet and is trapped on the space station with her assistant Linray Vache. Then Revanche, chief assistant, also bodyguard, never speaks above a whisper, and always has the facts needed on hand. The Righteous Walker, the refugee ship. The AI is known as Walker and appears as a male Kobani in hologram form. Gibby and Toby, 2 technicians lost on the station and hiding in operations.
Remember, we're the space immigrants.
Let's see, Act 1. Okay, this is where they're starting to show what scene boons are supposed to be.
Yeah.
And these are
Hook, line, sinker.
Huh?
Hook, line, sinker. That's how they did it.
Yeah. This is pretty much railroading us to do something. You need to help fix this ship. You need to do this. You need to do that.
Act 2 in the corridors. We make their shit. Okay, these people. Okay, once again, we have the problem of if any play testing was done, it was done with the creators being there to say, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
It was not done by actual role players.
They railroad this whole thing.
You know, at least a lot of Japanese tabletops have an excuse for railroading because they're usually not done in someone's house.
Yeah. And you know, you've also got like Ravenloft has a lot of railroading because you're dancing to the Dark Lord's tune and you damn well know it. That's the problem. You know you're on the train, but you've got no choice.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're forcing you to act in a certain way and forcing you to go to that place, forcing you to do this.
And then let's see, we have a okay. Why do we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different defenses?
I don't even know.
Why?
No.
Mental defense.
Don't do this.
Mm.
What was that, Ralts?
They're making overpowered characters.
They're poorly made to boot.
Yeah.
They're poorly made by okay. If you have the entire inside, if you know the fucking system because you created it, the problem is you create what you think are the perfect characters. That's why you need playtesters to help when you do playtesters, your playtesters are also giving you feedback on the NPCs.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you spend too much time sitting in a bubble and huffing your own farts.
Yep.
Because what? 5 different defenses? Not even Palladium is that bad.
I agree. Because at least they make theirs actually make more sense.
Now, if I like, there is no reason that we can't. The most that you should have in this sort of situation is 3. And you know what makes it even worse is that I had originally thought that active defense was something that you'd roll. No, apparently I was wrong. You effectively have 10 defenses here. Because you have a passive and active for each.
Oh my god, even the fucking robotic drones have auras. What is a fucking aura? If you can make drones that have auras.
Oh god. So this is what they have.
All right. So, and I'm guessing that this is what the character sheet is going to look like.
Yeah, but it's also the characters sheet right here.
It's terrible.
Okay.
The Warlords, the Merchant House, the Ministry of Sexism.
Okay. Now, Now, having these reputations set up, I'm perfectly fine with.
Yeah.
Exactly why we have to do this sort of triangle setup, I don't quite get.
There's your Afrocentric, I guess.
Yeah, that's the problem I kept having in the back of my mind. Where is the quote unquote Afrocentrism in all this?
It's the artwork.
Yeah.
The artwork and the matriarchy.
Yeah, and that's still weak.
So you color in all these triangles in the harmony and war and light and spirit and wound.
Become overpowered within one or two adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the next.
Okay, so that's what Esude apparently looks like.
And it looks like
and once again we have that pointless ass results table.
Yeah.
Let's see, in talents, energy discharge.
Yeah. He's immune to all energy or okay. All energy.
Okay.
Energy does not work. Physics don't work like that.
Oh, okay. First, putting aside physics.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need to have intentional self-damage in order to use energy discharge? And if it's only doing
Okay, so I'm guessing you made. Okay, this is how it works. He sacrifices some points, to his health points, and then does damage.
Yeah, except look at his wounds. He only has 6.
Yeah, that's weird.
All right.
Deals 5 damage if successful.
Plus 5 after rolling war plus weapons.
Yeah. So he's a light being.
Yep. All right. So then we have Abiodun and
Fearless. Insect.
Okay, so these are the guys you'd want to blow up.
Yeah. I see no reason to keep them around. They're kind of ugly, and they're arrogant, and they're cannibals.
Yeah.
How do I know they're not eating my? How do I know they don't take over planets to eat everybody? Yeah, these things would be fucking genocided out of existence.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Tell me that human explorers looked at that and went, "Oh, you're so wise," and didn't go, "Holy fuck, get the flamethrower."
Yeah, you can see right here that the art looks really bad.
It's not an issue of the art. They created a planet.
I hate to say it, the art looks really weird.
Yeah, the artwork is something like that. You'd want vibrant colors to offset the ugliness of it.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a blue woman with hairy on. Bitch, shave your legs.
Yeah. And Farscape did it better.
Holy shit, it's a blue Italian. Bitch got a mustache.
Yeah. Always prepared.
Okay, look at these talents. It's like they just yanked these talents out of their ass.
The pinnacle of beauty.
Let's take a look at Mobo.
Let's see what he is.
Okay. We brought this up on Sunday, but I'm going to ask again.
Yeah.
Why?
Nigga, buy a gun.
He did have a gun. Look at it. It's down on it in the side pocket.
Holy shit.
This is what counts for Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
Put away the spear and shield. Even Wakanda fucking their spears are just artistic design for fucking plasma casters.
Yeah.
And at least their shields are actually cool.
Not to mention
Is the spear energy
The
based?
spear being used in a place like Africa, I'm willing to buy because, you know, a lot of open area.
Yeah, and
You're
it's
not going to have open area on a ship.
And well, plus, you know, in Africa, I can understand it because, you know, the white man only showed up with his pistol and elephant gun a few fucking centuries ago, you know, and guns ain't been around that long, and murder sticks still work.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck how high tech your gun is. Dude gets up on you with his murder stick and you're fucking murderized.
Yeah, and it says right here, the value of hard work. People from Ayuki had learned the value of the bartering system. Ooh.
What does that have to do with hard work?
I don't even know.
Privilege. Fucking. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh yeah, plant people.
And that's where it ends with them thanking their patrons. The first patron is Geek Girls Rule. And Pelgrane Press is a fucking patron? Are you shitting me?
Oh god.
Are these patrons or people whose ass you were desperately kissing on the idea of your game?
And Daniel Jones.
This is okay. You guys go first, man. Because when I start, I'm gonna keep going.
Okay. Now, I get the feeling that the three creators involved did not have all that much input into this, because I have read quick starts for RPGs that both Jerry and Eloy have done. They are not this shit. The quick start for the Ninja Crusade wasn't shit. The quick start for Godsend wasn't shit. The quick start for fucking Hellas wasn't shit.
Yeah, I'm looking at
the big problem with all of this is a lack of specificity, a lack of understanding of balance, and I didn't see any names of any playtesters. This feels like an alpha. Go back to the fucking drawing board, do it again. And first thing you need to explain is, what the fuck is aura?
Yeah. Let's see here.
And once you've done explaining that, explain why the fuck do machines have aura?
And this is on Kickstarter.
This is not well. This is they've already gotten way past their funding, but there's a reason why I didn't put this in the Kickstarter spotlight thing and instead put it in the Geeks of the Week, because I saw this thing getting a lot of buzz. But if this quick start is going to be how they advertise it, if this is any indication, I do not have confidence in this project. I would highly advise people to go check out the Faith sci-fi RPG instead.
Yeah. I'm looking at the website right now.
It may not be Afrofuturism or whatever, and that's the other thing. Aside from the names and some of the artwork, there was barely much in the way of Africa in this thing.
Yeah, but it's just African Americans making this game, according to this.
That has nothing to do with. I don't care if the writers are black, white, brown, purple, or orange. If you're going to claim Afrofuturism in this game, which coincidentally the Kickstarter used, but this PDF doesn't, fucking stick with it. If I was to grade this as I grade my RPGs on my proper reviews, this would get the rating of, at best, extreme caution, at worst, avoid.
Okay.
What about you, JT?
I'm looking at this and realizing, yeah, this is pretty bad. The problem with this, you can't really take this RPG seriously. The whole thing is a mistake. That's what I see in this. It's like, they pretty much railroad you in this adventure setting, and I think the problem with it is that they tried to make an interesting RPG, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel like a really good RPG.
Yeah, I am for the time being, I'm absolving the 3 designers that we saw with this. I'm putting this squarely on the writers.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the writers and also the marketing for this, and I'm looking at the writers in general, like Jerry D. Grayson.
Yeah, we covered the writers on Sunday. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Ralts.
All right.
Lay it on me.
First of all, the 2 writers that we know and love and we know are capable of doing good stuff, take your names off of this hot shit. Either smack everybody pictured in the face with your dicks and tell them get back into the salt mine and rewrite it from the ground up, or take your fucking name off of it. Number 1, from concept to artwork to mechanics to wordage to names, this is a pile of hot horse shit. Better crap has been designed by 13-year-olds high on pixie sticks watching Pornhub and jerking off with their older brother's fleshlights.
Why are you bringing Sensor into this? Sorry, I couldn't.
This is fucking terrible. I mean, from your basic hit chart, which you made completely useless, to your target numbers, which are arbitrary by the DM. You didn't even include a chart of common fucking task and difficulties. You didn't include anything, but this is nothing. This is worse than Mother May I. Because at least when you're laying on the bed with your girlfriend playing Mother May I because you're too bored to get the fucking dice because that requires effort, at least you give her, at least you know what the fuck you're doing. This is fucking terrible. First, we're going to start with Afro-future or Afrocentric or you know what? Putting Afro in front of it does not make your game special. It requires work. It requires research. It requires putting the concepts, both cultural, social, and artistic, I know that's 3, into your work. It should have felt, as a Westerner, it goddamn well should have felt to have strange and unusual but familiar, because, surprise, Black people and Africans are humans. It should have felt alien, like another culture, like going to fucking Vietnam and they're not trying to shoot at me for being white. You know, it should have felt familiar, but not quite. Enough to make me curious and intrigued, but not enough to make me go, what the shit is this? There was no mention of Africa, which, fine, okay. But just a few pieces of artwork of a bald black dude with a shield, a spear, and a gun doesn't make you Afrocentric. It makes you a fucking racist. Okay? Nowhere, because, hey, newsflash, the African peoples who have been rebuilding their cities since the 90s after the fucking brushfire wars, they actually designed their cities different than Westerners. Why? Because they got to learn from our fucking mistakes that it's too late to, because our cities are 100 or 500 years old. You know, they're fucking wandering cow paths that we threw fucking buildings up. Go ahead and take a look at some of the fucking major cities of Africa, and you'll be able to notice the design differences. And I'm not talking about the shitholes in Liberia. I'm talking about the nice modern shit. Africa also has a big thing on spirituality. Yeah, a lot of your fucking modern Ethiopians, Somalians, they are, you know, it's Eastern Somalia that's LOL pirates, where your internal and your mainline is very much civilized. There's still a lot of spirituality there. You can't talk about auras and some fucking alien buttfuck race who's got 1 foot in the interdimensional grave telling everybody how to behave. You need the spirituality. If they had said, you know, oh, it's the concept of Ohanu or whatever the fuck it's called, you know, I could have bought that. I could have accepted that. But instead, you gave us nothing. There's nothing Afrocentric in this. So you can't just stamp Afrocentric on it and have me pretend it is, because it's not. And yeah, white oppressor. Well, you know what? My people fucking conquered it, so we know what it looks like. It looks like a shitload of spears. Anyway, you know, Shaka Zulu would be embarrassed, because I'm sorry, that certain coloring patterns, if they had taken the African traditional coloring patterns and worked that into the auras, now that would have been cool. You promised me Afrocentric, and what you gave me is generic, mystical, magical high school girl. That's it. It's high school girl with the numbers filed off and Star Wars jizzing all over her face. Congratulations. Then you went to do space opera. Space opera is very, very strictly defined, despite what your friends told you. You understand space opera like Zoe Quinn understands cyberpunk. You don't. Look it up, study it, read it. Don't just watch the fucking Star Wars or Star Trek movies and go, oh, now I understand space opera. There is a fuck ton more involved in space opera, and you failed. You delivered a beyond generic. You threw a handful of fucking charcoal dust on a paper and called it Mona Lisa. That's not how it works. Number 3, your research skills are absolute trash. If you need, number 1, you need to at least look up on fucking Wikipedia how planets are formed. Then you need to sit down and take a good look at how the galaxy works. You need to figure out why we know which solar systems have exoplanets that might support life and which ones don't. Learn about the green zone, learn about all that shit, because you know what? If you're going to put out even a space opera, even motherfucking Star Trek fleet battles had a chart on how to generate some fucking solar systems. You do not. Planets are not covered with one fucking thing. It's impossible. Learn about axial tilt and learn about fucking parabolic arcs. 3rd, learn how civilizations grow. Colleges offer classes on this, and not sociology, gender studies bullshit. How civilizations grow actually is a hard fucking science. You know, there are actually fucking formulas that explain to you how civilizations formed based on the value of resources. By the way, the formula involves, math. So take a math class. Your fucking cultures failed. Your civilization fails. Take a go to the college and take a fucking writing class or something, or maybe read more science fiction than the latest gay Star Wars character fanfic, because your races are trash. They're not imaginative. They're not interesting. It's like you randomly guessed at what people might not have done before and stomped it into a claymation monster and said, there's our creature. Your races would not survive. Those ones that cannibalize each other, they would not have survived the atomic era. They would not have even survived the industrial era with the wars. Number 1, learn about society failure points. Number 2, learn about society extinction points. We're on our 5th one right now. We've got to overcome the fucking problem of industry generates heat. Learn about it. Learn about it. Live it. Love it. Get a fucking education. Your gender studies degree isn't going to help you. Learn about the hard sciences about it. So your game has failed mechanically. Game design. Everything. This game is a complete and utter fucking failure, and it is a waste of the electrons used to store it and transmit it. Go back to the fucking drawing board or take your fucking names off of it. Because if this is how your main book is going to work, that you plan on charging everybody for, that you raised all this money for, you are what is wrong with RPGs. And you know what? If I was to do any more fucking work on why your mechanics are bad and you should feel bad and you deserve to have to watch Zoidberg's naked dance, I would be redesigning your game.
We were borderline doing that this entire time.
And you know what? I charge money for that. Hey, I would charge money for that because your game is a fucking disaster. You have nothing on what matters most. Galactic politics. Who provides the weaponry? Where are the ships constructed? Is there faster than light? How many different, what kind of faster than light travel does it fucking use? These actually affect interstellar fucking cargo. And interstellar cargo is what keeps it alive. Learn how this shit works. Stop coming in, watching Star Wars, and stop fucking putting a fucking cattle bolt gun to your head, firing it, and watching Star Wars and Star Trek and drooling notes onto the paper. You're not fucking learning. Because the people who have written Star Trek, including Gene Roddenberry, and the people who wrote Star Wars, aren't good sci-fi authors. If they were, they would have written books, because back then books made more money. Go back to your basics and feel bad. And if the two people we were complimenting are the ones that actually wrote and approved this shit, I want to know who fucking lured them into a Portland alley and stole their skin, because this ain't them. And I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Well then.
Better yet, get Mike Pondsmith to help you.
No, he's too busy making better games.
I'm sorry, but this was just fucking insulting. How dare you bring me on to look at this? You were the one who suggested we look at the quick start. How dare I suggest bringing me to look at this? This was terrible. And I reviewed Fatal.
So have I. I've reviewed Fatal, I've reviewed World of Cinnabar, and I've reviewed Senzar.
You know why this is worse? Because it's so fucking pretentious. And they think they're above criticism with their matriarchy. Learn why patriarchies and matriarchies occur. I hate to tell these people, I hate to tell feminists this, but we didn't wake up one day and look at women and say, LOL, you get to do the dishes. That's not how it happened.
Two things. One, should I when we wrap up for the night, should I send Nurgle a link to see if he can splice it?
Sure.
and two, there's I'm not going to get to them tonight because there's just not enough time, but there's two other quick starts I did want to run by you guys.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah, both of them I'm going in completely blind, even though I'm familiar with them to a degree. The first one is the quick start for Judge Dredd and the Worlds of 2000 AD. And the second one is for Lex Arcana. I would be going mostly blind for Judge Dredd because it is using the What's Old is New system, which I'm very familiar with. And Lex Arcana, I'm going in completely blind because it was originally put out in Italian and I don't speak Italian.
You know what the fucked up thing is what these people don't realize because they haven't looked at when you design games, you have to look at the games that came before. If you're familiar with the early days of Hero System, because I think we're on like Hero System version 6.
Yeah.
The problem with the original Champions game was you had their guys that put all their points into one attack and one defense. You basically ended up with Cyclops every time. And that game lends itself very much to min-maxing. I mean, for fuck's sake, the example NPCs are min-maxed. And I don't mind min-maxing. When you power game, you got to min-max. But if it's baked into the system, there's something wrong, which is why Champions came out with a second edition within like 3 years, which back then was extremely rare. It's just the whole fucking thing bugs me. I think it's because I expected better. I really did. And I really expected better.
So did I. Like I said, I wonder if now let me posit a bit of a theory. I wonder if the majority of the designing was done by the first girl. and the other two just gave it glances and like, yeah, whatever.
I wonder if they were held down and force fed the Kool-Aid until they started giving out the zombie mantra.
Because when I think about the design for the Ninja Crusade, which has one of the better martial arts systems in an RPG, when I think about the design for AMP Year One, when I think about Godsend or Hellas or Atlantis, Atlantis being what I've referred to as D20 pure, because, well, in that game you are only rolling a die 20. Period. And hell, this whole result table thing, the Omni system did it better. That's the system that Atlantis uses. But the fact that those quick starts were actually what got me into trying out those games, and the fact that I found an early version of Atlantis Second Age at half price books by accident, but let's not split hairs here. That's why I'm trying to wrap my head around how you have those two people who have very strong pedigrees, and yet this isn't matching their usual standard. I don't like it. I don't like getting conspiratorial, but it really does feel like somebody either did an identity swap, somebody's a Cylon, or they barely even touched it and just let the writer who had done the one book that didn't prove itself, because nobody on I have yet to find any high amount of people that enjoy hashtag feminism from a Prograne Press. Most people, if they're shopping for stuff from them, they're going for the Dying Earth books. They're going for 13th Age, which everybody should fucking do because 13th Age is fucking awesome. Or they're going with Trail of Cthulhu, which is a little story gamey for my taste and isn't going to have the kind of crunch that you prefer, but it's not bad. That's why I put it in that Halloween list I did last month. But Ralts, would you say that we need to do?
Hang on, I'm negotiating over bedtime TV.
But I feel like we need to do this again down the line, but using a game that doesn't suck. Would that be considered shilling? No, because one, we're not getting paid. Two, I've mentioned before that my crusade is showing people what else is out there. That's why I keep highlighting all those damn Kickstarters and all that shit.
Well, the thing is I've noticed something. D&D 5e has brought back the old 30 die 20 problem with everybody thinking they're a designer. I've noticed it on Twitter. I've noticed it on RPG Now happening. And unfortunately, the people who are doing the designing, I don't know. You've seen me bitch about fucking D&D Twitter.
Are you saying that we're having another die 20 bubble?
Yeah, we're having another die 20 bubble because all of these fucking Portland game jams and shit have made people think, oh, I wasn't able to make a computer game, I can make a fucking D&D game. When at least with a computer game, you can constrain the players through the mechanics of the computer program. Where in a tabletop game, if you build it, the players will run you over with it.
Yep.
This game is ripe for abuse because the designers have not looked at it with an eye for how are the players going to ruin everything. It's very much, it shows with the players giving each other XP. It's very much it's the assumption of cooperative, benevolent gameplay. And that's not how it works because human beings are competitive.
Yeah, and I know that somebody's going to use the argument of, but RPGs are supposed to be about a story, not about who's winning and losing.
It is about a story, but a story must carry an element of risk, which is why Dungeons and Dragons from 4th edition on suffered from a problem, and it suffered from a problem of there was very little risk to the players. You could see it on RPG Net. You could see it in other places where most players are convinced that they are allowed an 8-hour break no matter what, to recharge their abilities and their dailies whenever they want. They're allowed this break. And it bled into 5th edition, where the idea of a player, I've watched podcasts, I've looked over the books, I've looked over the SRD. The idea of players being at risk at losing a character is not that high. And if you think I'm wrong, go ahead and take a look at 1st edition, where the wizard started out with 1d4 hit points. And 1d4 hit points per level was not much in a game, in that game. Character death was very real. The example of play in the fucking DM's guide had a character getting snuffed.
At the same time, though, that's a pendulum that can swing too far the other way, because fuck you, Rag-Eye.
Yeah. You've got to, that's the thing, where everybody became obsessed with balance. And I used to get in arguments with this with my fellow designers, is they were taking balance as meaning all the characters need to be balanced against each other, not the party as a group should be balanced toward the challenges and threats presented by the monsters at that level. And so then it became where no more is there this part where if you say, okay, the goblin fields are to the right, the lair of the undead dragons is to the left, and the party goes, let's go left. It used to be you just smoke them for being retards. Now you are encouraged and browbeat into giving them adventures in the lair of the undead dragon applicable to 1st level characters. In this game that we just reviewed really sums up the idea of player empowerment to the point where challenges are subjective at best.
And believe me, we'll have I'll have some things to bring up regarding RPG Net come Sunday. Believe me on that. I've got something in mind for them. So, but I think that's a high enough point to wrap it up. Thank you everybody who was willing to watch for this impromptu edition of Monastery Live. I'm not sure when we're going to do this. I'm not sure when we're going to do this sort of approach again. I'll have to get in contact with you about that later, Ralts.
Okay.
Regarding the other two quick starts. But it'll probably happen again. And of course, tomorrow at around 4:30 Central Time will be the premiere time for my most recent review regarding BattleTech: A Time of War, and in keeping with my 2-week approach, I've already got the next one lined up, and that's scheduled after that. And of course, on Sunday will be the proper edition of Monastery Live, where we will laugh at stupid and get ourselves horribly drunk, as we often do, because, well, those kegs aren't going to drink themselves, are they?
No, they're not.
But until then, as always, I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and we will see you all on Sunday. Stay frosty and fuck the Watsy.